are
now
watching. Set
it up.
Andrew, assemble the Set It Up crew. Morgan, turn on the Set It Up signal.
Calling all Set It Up numbers. Report to base. The show is about to begin. I repeat, report to base. The show is about to begin.
What is my story behind cyberbullying? My story behind cyberbullying is my friends went to my other friend's birthday party, and then I could not go, and it was just really sad. And they all started talking a whole bunch of crap about me. And then I came to school, and they were all being mean, and I kind of just let it go. And then there was a status made on Facebook, and I don't exactly remember what it was about, but it was horrible. And all these comments went down, and I just got all sad and psycho, and then I ended up leaving school for like a week.
My story behind cyberbullying is when I was in the 7th grade, I took a picture during doing a dare, and it got sent around my school, and it kind of left me like emotionally scarred.
What is my story behind cyberbullying? Well, I'm sorry. Okay, there's these like girls or whatever, because a guy liked me and they didn't like me because he liked me because they liked him. You know, middle school drama. But yeah, and it got to the point where they were like bullying me in person, and like they messaged me on Facebook like calling me ugly, and they were just telling me that a whole bunch of stuff like I'm worthless, I'm not worth his time, or
How did I handle the cyberbullying? I pretty much just told an adult, and I know a lot of kids say that if you tell an adult it's just gonna make it worse, but it actually made it a lot better. Like they got the kids to stop sending it around, and it got taken off the internet and their phones.
how did I handle the cyberbullying? For the most part, I ignored it. And at one point, I told my mom, but she just told me to like keep ignoring them and block them. And then eventually they just like started like bullying me at school instead.
What what is the difference between bullying and cyberbullying? To me, the difference between those two are bullying is more face-to-face and physical type stuff, and cyberbullying is way more online, and like other people can become a part of it and tease you and be mean to you, and yeah.
In my opinion, the difference between cyberbullying and regularly bullying is probably cyberbullying is more something that happens over phones, social media, and like basically the internet and texting. Regular bullying is like I don't want to say it's like the stereotypical stuff that you see on TV, but it's like somebody attacking you physically and somebody or verbally or emotionally.
In my opinion, what is the difference between bullying and cyberbullying? Cyberbullying isn't really that bad for some people, I guess. For me, it wasn't that bad because it didn't last that long either. But I think bullying is worse because like they could actually like hurt you like physically and mentally. And plus like when you tell a teacher, like no one does anything about it either. People suck.
After you were cyberbullied, did you yourself cyberbully somebody? I have never bullied anyone in any way, in any shape or form in my whole life because I think bullying is wrong and I know how it feels to be torn down and ripped to shreds emotionally and physically, and it just kills everyone and yourself, and it's horrible.
After being cyberbullied, did I cyberbully somebody? I would say that I would because, or that I did, because it kind of made me want to hurt people the way that they hurt me. So yeah, I did.
After I experienced cyberbullying, did I cyberbully myself? No, I did not, because cyberbullying is not okay, and it did hurt. Words do hurt. Honestly, they do. What they said was not okay. And I don't think I could do that to anyone else, because that'd just be like, I'm a hypocrite. It's just not nice. Why you gotta be so mean?
Cyberbullying did not really affect my life that much. It affected my 6th grade year. I was suspended like 4 times within that year, and I was locked up, and it just, I don't know, I guess so that did affect my life. It just went really bad. I went crazy psycho and I got locked up.
How has cyberbullying affected my life overall? I would say that it kind of left me like emotionally scarred, and that I didn't really want to tell anybody like the stuff that was going on, because that's kind of how it started, and I didn't really want to trust anyone anymore.
How did cyberbullying affect my life overall? It didn't really affect me as much, but it did hit me to a point where their words got to me, and I did get pretty low. Eventually I got over it, and there's a lot of great people that helped me through it.
To prevent cyberbullying, I feel if you get caught cyberbullying and it's reported or something, this person should just completely get kicked off the internet. Like restrictions, that should be the law. If you get caught cyberbullying, you should just not be allowed on the internet. That's it, that's how it goes. Internet is for fun and music and social media, and if you ruin that for yourself, you should just not be allowed on at all.
What would I change to prevent cyberbullying in the future? I'd probably make it like so kids couldn't send offensive things, like some way, like some type of grid where people are monitoring it. I don't want to say that because it's kind of like creepy, but where people aren't allowed to send rude things. Kind of like Club Penguin.
What do I do to change cyberbullying? I think honestly, kids should understand, like not just kids either. I think more like teens and kids, yeah. They should like understand that cyberbullying doesn't really help anything, honestly. Like, chill. Like, I don't know, really. I think there should be a certain age limit to being on like Facebook and all that, because it's mostly the younger kids that are like doing the cyberbullying. So it's like, it needs to stop. And I think they should like if someone is cyberbullying, instead of the adults not doing anything, I think they should do something about it, or like ban like certain words. Stay off the internet, kids.
Did you do it yourself? What are you doing?
What things should remain in life a mystery?
What things in life should remain a mystery?
What things in life should remain a mystery, huh?
The one thing in life that should remain a mystery?
Wow.
Wow, that's a really interesting question. I think your relationship with the person you love, there should always be some mystery in that. Like, you should get to know them really well, but it's okay if there are parts of them that you don't fully understand, because that keeps things kind of interesting.
Unconditional love should remain a mystery, and I think it should remain a mystery because it's so perfect and pure, and we don't want to disrupt that.
What my wife is going to get me for my birthday, which is June the 14th, Flag Day.
Nothing should be a mystery. That's why we have a mind to figure out. The only thing is a mystery right now is mathematics.
I don't know. I think that mystery is very important and that there are some things we aren't meant to understand.
Detailed action of what's going on at war in government interactions and stuff like that. Some of it these days is just too gory.
I guess your secret, most innermost dreams should be a secret, I think.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
A woman's age and weight.
Is growing old.
Future. It's no fun to know the future.
I think that the Coca-Cola recipe should remain a mystery. Because if you learn what really is in it, it might not be so magical.
What humans are capable of.
Just who I am as a person. I believe that there are no walls, no boundaries. You are open to be who you are. That's exactly what I believe.
Actually, how to make money. Because, I always wanted to make my own president. Dollar bill, I wanted to be my own face on a dollar bill, so yeah. And if you create, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything possible.
Probably the things revolving around like religion or God. It ends up being, I think, sometimes a little more powerful for people, for something for you to have faith in, something that you don't necessarily see every day versus something that you can physically see. There's just kind of more of a, you know, spiritual power to it, a essence, if you will, of just not knowing whether or not something is there or isn't. So it kind of just gives a little more powerful feeling to it than if, you know, you actually had proof of what was actually there. So.
There should be things that remain a mystery, and I'm sure spirituality is one of them, because there are no answers.
I believe that the creation of life should remain a mystery, because then we can follow our faith.
Why human beings exist, the reason why it should remain a mystery is because it's too complex, and if you think about it, it'll consume you.
The sex of an unborn child. It's one of the few mysteries in life. Why spoil it?
I suppose when you're gonna die.
Anything that happens after this life should remain a mystery, otherwise it just causes problems. There's too many different views, so I just figured that's one of those things that should be a mystery.
If there's an afterlife or not, because if there was, people would live more dangerously. We wouldn't be all safe, and we wouldn't conceal ourselves and not live life.
You always have to strive for something as you get older to look forward to, and I think that if that remains a mystery, that's a good thing, because if you know exactly what's going to happen after death, maybe that's not going to keep you motivated to be a good person, so to speak. So that's what I think.
I think the determination of end of life should remain a mystery. Not knowing when our health changes or when our lives will come to an end forces us to live each and every day of our lives with purpose, with determination, and take advantage of all the wonderful things that life offers us. I think that is what should remain a mystery.
In the midst of looking for that real something real, give me chills and it make me feel something. I feel lost in the heat of it all, but I like it, I don't know, it's a thrill to fall. I mean, it's cool to not always know the next thing. The fear of the unknown could be the best thing. Gotta focus on me till it's on no time to care what others be. Don't need to know where Waldo at. He probably out doing his thing. We need to be doing the same. Hey, being lost is okay. You find yourself at the end of the day, and at the end of the day, just know you're not alone. I'll be by your side when they hit record. I find my way in the midst, even when I roam. Minnesota got my heart, and my heart's at home.
Cold winter days, even colder winter nights. Lost in the world, but things don't seem right. A dysfunctional family, a mixed up school. Everyone hates him, everyone's cruel. He wants to give up, let the world cave in. But he keeps on living, so he can try to win. He wants to be someone, he wants to be loved. He wants to be cared for, people he can trust. He's a lost Minnesota boy, nowhere to go. Just a lost dad comes home late as usual, says he's tired and goes to bed. A lost Minnesota girl, thoughts in her head. Out of the door, she flies into the night. Out of the house without fright. She's just a lost Minnesota girl, nowhere to go. A lost Minnesota girl, no one will know. A lost Minnesota girl, she is all alone. A lost Minnesota boy out on the streets. He spots a lost Minnesota girl who he walks up to and greets. She's beautiful, and for once he doesn't feel alone. She looks up into his eyes and she suddenly knows.
I'm a lost Minnesota boy, lost at heart. Don't know where to go, don't know where to start. Nothing at the seams, and that seems more clear. I can never open up to anyone out of fear. I'm honest, so puzzled and guilt-ridden with struggle. Life weighs double, and my heart covered in troubles. I'm alone in my bubble, and hate creeps on me subtle.
Lost Minnesota boy.
I'm trying to find a place, be alone and be safe, and avoiding all these fakes. All I want to do is create and disappear without a trace.
Lost Minnesota boy.
I just need to relax and let my emotions go. Forget everything and let my emotions go. She's the only person my heart ever chose.
Lost Minnesota boy.
Lost Minnesota kids, nowhere to go. Just lost Minnesota kids, no one will know. Just lost Minnesota kids, but they'll never be alone.
For this episode, we asked high school students, college students, and teachers variations of the same 3 questions to see how the responses changed.
It's dumb.
School is okay, I guess.
School is okay. It could be better.
Just normal. It's fine. I just find it as a waste of time at times.
Stressful?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Great experience. You get to meet a lot of people from different areas. I want to be a blood splatter pattern analysis.
Writing. Maybe something sciencey. Science school, you know.
I want to get in business and probably film. I want to become my own boss.
Preventing sexual violence or domestic violence against women.
I want to be a teacher when I grow up.
I'm going to be a physical therapist.
Probably about 4 years ago.
That's a good question, because if you would have told me when I was sitting in high school English that I'd be a high school English teacher, I would have laughed.
About my junior year of high school, I decided that I either wanted to go into music or science. And so in both of those things, pretty much either you perform or research or you teach.
Well, I'm different from most of the teachers here. I started as an engineer and then lost my job about 8 years ago when the housing market crashed.
And while I was experiencing life, I was teaching someone how to play guitar, and they said, "You'd make a really good teacher." And that planted the first seed.
Watching my children grow, being a part of that, sort of changed my mindset to wanting to do more with kids.
After 20 or so years, I selected the right job for me.
Make it later in the day or something.
I'd make the school day shorter. Overthrow the hierarchy.
Waking up too early. Waking up early in the morning and hours we're in class.
The tuition, because it's really expensive and nobody likes paying all that money back.
It's a lot. It's a lot of work, and I don't want to pay it.
I would align people's understandings of what it means to be literate in conventional English.
Every student have equal access to technology and the internet.
Finding different ways to assess students other than tests, but it's very complicated to do.
When I was little, I grew up in Minneapolis, and we had a cabin out on Lake Pulaski. And we would drive to the cabin, but when we got there, it was really my first experience with open space and even the ride out there. And when I would look out the window, or when we got to the cabin and I would look out over the lake, I thought that the earth ended at that horizon line, that if I were able to go to the end of that horizon, I would look down and it would be just one big abyss.
I thought volleyball, the sport, was called volleyball, and I was incredibly disappointed when I figured out it was not called volleyball, because clearly volleyball is a much better word than volleyball. So.
When I was a kid many years ago, cars hardly ever got over 100,000 miles. And I had always heard on the radio that people would lose control and have an accident. And I was always worried that if our car went over 100,000 miles, the tachometer would start spinning and the car would veer off the road and we would have an accident. So I always looked at that tachometer to make sure that we wouldn't go over 100,000 miles.
I used to think that notice was not ice, and I'd go to the zoo and I was wondering why so many things were labeled as not being ice.
I used to think that when you flush the toilet in an airplane bathroom, it would just like release itself and like possibly land on someone on the ground. So I always tried not to use airplane bathrooms because I felt really guilty about it. And also when an airplane would fly over me, I would be a little bit worried.
I used to think that chaos and chows were two different words that meant the same thing. It was in 7th grade that I discovered the truth.
I also read in a book this one time that in the old days, people used to like bury their dead relatives under their houses. And so, since I knew that my house was kind of old, I became convinced that there were like dead people buried in the basement, and I was really, really scared. Or like I was afraid that if the wall fell down, like a dead person was gonna pop out.
As a kid, I thought that fruit snacks were called choking hazards because that's what my parents called them. You know, they would give me fruit snacks and they called them choking hazards. And it didn't even occur to me that choking hazard was, you know, like choking hazard. I just thought that was the name for fruit snacks.
I had no idea how old people were, like how relative ages worked. So someone asked me how old I thought my grandma was, and I said that she was probably 18, because that was like the biggest number I could think of, like as a conceivable age.
Okay, when I was pretty young, for a while, I thought that all cats were girls and all dogs were boys, and cats were the girl version and dogs were the boy version of what was essentially the same species.
When you're a child, that's your whole world. It's so small. You know, it involves your family and everything just around you. As you go to school, it develops a little bit more, and then to high school and your friends, and it's kind of how the world keeps expanding for you. But it starts out so little, and you know, it's good that it grows, and the people we meet and the things we do when you go from towns to states to countries, and it just keeps on expanding, and it's amazing to me how it does that.
Thanks for watching our show. We will see you in the next episode.